What famous person has done something incredibly heinous, but has often been overlooked? Jimmy Savile. He got away with raping kids his whole life and everything only came out once he died. Got to know Buzz well whilst he was alive. All whilst abusing kids. Steve Jobs denied his own daughter for years. Steven Tyler got custody of his 14-year-old girlfriend so she could go on tour with Aerosmith and be together. Her parents consented. People are still playing Chris Brown on mainstream radio like he didn't try to kill Rihanna. In the early 90s, Tom and Roseanne Barr Arnold financed a large-scale meth operation in southeast Iowa that ran through Tom's brother-in-law's horse breeding operation. This one doesn't get a lot of publicity, but to the locals, it's just a known fact. Edit. Didn't expect this to blow up. Some background information. At the height of their celebrity, Tom and Roseanne spent nearly every weekend in Wapello County, Iowa with his brother-in-law Floyd, who was sentenced to 50+ years in federal prison for meth. Tom and Roseanne, at the time of the bust, were building a mansion in Eldon, Iowa. Eldon F. King, Iowa. Anyone from that area knows the only thing in Eldon is and was meth. My personal sources on this are known associates that did various amounts of time from the bust at Floyd's ranch, his neighbors, and a litany of people who partied with the group in the early 90s. It's assumed by most of those that Tom and Roseanne are the unnamed informants in Floyd's deposition. They stopped building the mansion and just left it abandoned at that time. Roseanne has never been back. Marcos Alonso from Chelsea killed a 19-year-old while drunk driving and got off with a 61,000 fine. His salary per week is a 110,000. Salman Khan, the Indian actor, not the Khan Academy gentleman, killed one person and injured 4 other homeless people sleeping on the streets after his car crashed into them. He has also been accused for poaching black bucks, chinkara etc. In addition to this, he has also harassed a well-known actress after they broke up. Every time a lower court convicts him, he appeals to a higher court granting him a bail. FCK him. FCK that bastard. Semicolon. Edit. Here in Czechia we have folk singer who was acting during communist regime that he was against it. In reality he was collaborating with secret police and reporting dissidents. Yet to this day most of people would call you an envious one if you bring it up again while he is enjoying popularity in Czechia and Poland, receiving a prize by Putin, and creating racist songs against refugees. I hate you. Jeremiah Nahavika. Just everyone that's with the Church of Scientology, an organization known for their shitty and psychotic practices. From Tom Cruise to John Travolta, they're all ignored because they're A-list actors even though they're involved in a goddamn cult. Where's Shelley? David? I really don't understand how Andy Dick hasn't been cancelled method. He has been waving his dick where it doesn't belong and touching people inappropriately for 30 years. This isn't even a secret. I guess people just don't think about Andy Dick. What's there to cancel? Andy Dick hasn't been relevant for more than a decade. Melissa Benoist's first husband almost blinded her, so she's been doing the Supergirl TV show for a while now, but a few years back news came out that she had hurt her eye. She said she had tripped or something, had hurt herself at home. Nope. Her first husband threw his phone at her in a fit of rage, hit her in the eye, and she almost lost her sight. Glad she left that psycho. Remember the Panama Papers? Yeah, they are still doing it. Literally anything Chris Brown has ever done fits here. Vince Neil killed the drummer from Hanoi Rocks in a drunk driving crash and got off with 0 prison time. You always hear about Pancho Villa, but hardly ever about his right-hand man, Rodolfo Fierro. Fierro loved to kill. He would kill at the first chance and would do so in a casual manner. One time he and another one of his henchmen were arguing as to which direction a man falls when he is shot and killed. They argued, Fierro that the man would fall faster first, the henchman that he would fall backward. Until all of a sudden Fierro took out his gun and fatally shot a passerby in broad daylight. The man fell face first and Fierro won that argument. Edit. Remember that time in 2015 an Olympic gold medalist killed someone with their car? Matthew Broderick killed 2 people in a reckless driving accident and only paid like $200 to get out of it. Marilyn Manson mentally and physically abused Evan Rachel Wood and groomed her. It. Vehicular manslaughter. It's my estimation that every man ever got a statue made of him was one kind of a son of a bitch or another. What about the US diplomat and his wife, who killed a young driver in the UK by driving on the wrong side of the road and then fled under diplomatic immunity? She's hiding behind the US justice system and they're allowing her to remain and not be extradited. What a pair of cowardly shits. Paul Walker dated minors or at the very least groomed them when they were young. People act like he was a saint though cause he makes mindless action movies. Vin Diesel sexually harassed a reporter, I think, in another country. Dr. MLK Jr. believed in equal rights but apparently not treating his wife with respect as he was a serial cheater and the only reason he was at that motel at night was to FCK his mistress. Dr. Swiss also cheated on his wife so she killed herself. But hey, that's okay cause his books are colorful and goofy, right? LeBron and China. Most rockstars from the 70s lol. The majority of them were basically pedophiles. Ted Nugent wrote songs about having sex with underage girls. One 13-year-old girl wound up with both David Bowie and Jimmy Page. It's insane how much they got away with. One of Kiss's songs, Christine 16, has this line. I don't usually say things like this to girls your age. But when I saw you coming out of school that day I knew. I've got to have you. I've got to have you. Literally sounding like a pervert who spends all day creeping around the high school. Anision. For grooming kids and abusing multiple people of all ages. He's recently been verified by Twitch. I'm so disgusted and furious. No one should ever forget what he did. Edit. If anyone wants to do something about getting this guy off Twitch, mass report him. It's the best way I know of to get rid of this guy without stepping on investigators' toes on this one. Jimmy Page, Led Zeppelin's guitarist, had a 14-year-old girlfriend and he knew exactly what he was doing. When he was 51, pedophile actor Doug Hutchinson lost Green Mile, married 16-year-old Courtney Stodden whose piece of shitty parents signed off on it. Most people remember Rick James for his catchy funky music, his erratic drug issues, or the hilarious Chappelle's Show Charlie Murphy True Hollywood Stories skit. What people don't bring up as commonly. Semicolon. Comma in 1991. James and his girlfriend Tanya Hijazi were accused of holding 24-year-old Frances Alley hostage for up to 6 days, tying her up, forcing her to perform sexual acts, and burning her legs and abdomen with the hot end of a crack cocaine pipe during a week-long cocaine binge. He faced life in prison for kidnapping, assault, and torture but only received a 5-year sentence and ultimately served 2 years total. I feel like that was a pretty heinous series of acts that have been often overlooked over the past 30 years. Marcus Alonso, left back for Chelsea FC, was drink driving and got his passenger killed. Should have gone to prison. Paid away 61,000 and is often brushed under the rug. Famed musician John Phillips of the 60s folk rock group Mamas and Papas supposedly had a 10-year incestuous relationship with his actress daughter, Mackenzie Phillips. Coco Chanel was a big supporter of the Nazi Party. Coco Chanel was a member, not just a supporter, and went into hiding following the war before emerging later to rebuild her empire. She also fired her entire staff when they demanded worker rights. During the filming of the Twilight Zone movie, John Landis demanded a scene be shot in the middle of the night and beyond the amount of time that child actors are allowed to work. paid off their parents and cash from his own pocket. During the scene there were big pyro effects and a helicopter pilot hovering dangerously low. The pilot was trying to keep safe but Landis kept telling him to get lower. Pyro blast damaged the tail rotor of the helicopter, which lost control and crashed, decapitating an actor and one of the children. The second child was crushed to death. Edit. My mistake. The passengers in the helicopter were not killed. Boy George.